Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show. Before the free show, where apparently we have some topics to get to.
We do. Welcome in to the Dallas Mavericks postgame show. I'm Greg Tepper. That's Ashley Pickle. And over there in the Dave Campbell's Texas Football
Oh, the
Greg
computer's
Powers
not
Memorial
working.
Power Show.
It shut
Power
off.
Zone, rather. Is Greg Powers. Hello, Greg.
What's up?
Mavericks win game 2 over the Clippers. And They have never lost a playoff game at the Staples Center. I didn't realize that. They've never lost a playoff game.
Because they have won now 2.
5. They're 5-0. Because you remember, this, and I'll be honest, this has big 2011
I know.
Lakers vibes.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
That was the Mother's Day Massacre when they just broke them limb from limb.
Well, this is the first time that they've won their opening game. Obviously, the opening game was the last one, but this is the first time they've done that since 2011.
Since the Western
and
Conference
Dirk
Finals.
was at the game last night, so all the juju in Dallas is full steam ahead.
It's all good. The weird thing is, all of the talk heading into the series with the Clippers was how the Clippers had this really, like, they had designed a team that was going to be able to stop the modern NBA offenses, because it was all long, switchy wings who can guard anybody, right? A lot of hybrid defenders. The problem is that when you've got the best passer in the league, who's also one of the best scorers in the league, he's going to pick you apart.
And looks like a chubby 12-year-old.
There's one other matchup that nobody ever talked about.
Yes.
And that is Rick Carlisle against Tyronn Lue.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Tyronn Lue is getting his pants pulled down and his bare bottom spanked by an NBA Hall of Famer on national television.
You are not wrong.
It is embarrassing for Ty Lue how Rick Carlisle's coaching circles. Because let me tell you who the more talented team is.
The Clippers.
It's the Clippers. It's the team with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
Yeah, two noted, soon going to be Hall of Famers.
Right. They're the more talented team. But a quick message for Pat Beverly.
Okay.
Pat Bev, what is it that you would say you do here? Because right now, it kind of seems like I've watched 8 quarters of this series, and it sure seems like your primary role is getting cooked.
Yep.
Your primary role is being flambéed. Your primary role is being pan-seared with a nice lemon emulsion and served perhaps with a nice Pinot Noir. Because anytime you're on the floor, they're going to run a screen and switch you on to Luka, and then Luka is going to attach the leash to your collar, and he is going to walk you to the basket.
I don't understand why he doesn't understand that the screens aren't coming.
Or then
he runs right into them.
They'll throw Zubats on him, and Zubats, he will literally just walk 30 feet away from the basket and then walk around him like a parking cone and go to the basket.
It's bad.
It is astonishing how bad the Clippers are at finding any sort of answers to that. Now, look, it certainly helps when Dorian Finney-Smith, I think, has been great. Tim Hardaway Jr.
has been on a heater for the Mavericks in the last fourth of the season.
He
is underrated right now. I'll give you that.
Big boy Bucks right now.
Yeah.
He's been great. Maxi Kleber went nuts in the first quarter.
My God.
And then and look, I know there's a lot of KP haters. There's a lot of Porzingis haters out there. Let me tell you, that man's playing the good soldier role really well so far.
Yep.
That he's not the star, but when they need him to come through, he's coming through.
Well, and there seemed to be, after All-Star break, there seemed to be a little tiff going on between him and Luka, and that looks like it has vanished, which is exactly what they needed, because they couldn't have any on-the-court issues.
I think they figured it out.
Whatever needed to get that bromance going, they figured it out.
And look, a lot of this series was always going to come down to what happens when Luka is on the bench.
Yes.
And dude, Jalen Brunson's awesome. It's almost as if he was super good in college and shouldn't have been a second-round draft pick.
Right.
That's weird.
He's
showing
awesome. Out at the 6th man.
He's great.
He's running for 6th man of the year right now.
He's great. And I mean, look, the Clippers are obviously very good, and if they turn it on, then they can absolutely win this series.
Game 3 decides it.
But through 2 games, they look like they're out of answers.
Mm-hmm.
They look like they're out of answers.
Too.
Oh, yeah.
They look
and the other thing they look, here's the other thing they look.
Which, if I was getting beat by Luka, again, who looks like a chubby 12-year-old, I would also be upset.
Let me tell you know what else they look? They look old.
Yeah. They do. Well, they are.
They look
to a certain
old
extent.
and slow. They look a half step slow.
Paul George is old.
I mean, Kawhi's in his 9th year in the league. I mean, these guys are up there as opposed to, you got 20. Luka's 22.
Yeah, he's
younger
Jalen
than
I
Brunson's
am.
24 or something.
He is my age. Yeah.
They're all babies, and I don't know, guys. I was hyped up last night. That was great. And Tim Hardaway Jr. That 3 that he hit.
It was big.
Down
that
the
was
stretch.
clutch.
That was the dagger.
A shifty,
He might as well slash the throat.
I was the dagger was basically in. He twisted it at that point.
And it was perfect encapsulation of what has worked,
also,
which is Luka brings the ball up. Finney-Smith makes a great feed to Hardaway, and Hardaway does what he needs to do, which is nail down that 3.
Just
hit an open 3. You're going to
be
open, and he did it. It was impressive.
9:30 tips are dumb. Also.
Oh my gosh. 9:30.
I'm in all of you.
9:30 tips are tough.
They're so awful.
Now look, it's not tough for me because I'm up late working on the magazine, so it was great. It was oh, awesome. Normally I'm just watching Mariners baseball or something.
I also know
this is the best basketball show I've listened to.
Thanks, man.
I also know.
Is it the only basketball show you've listened to?
It is.
Okay. You should listen to Texas 24, our basketball podcast.
Working those games sucks.
Oh yeah.
That's a beating.
Yeah, I watched a little bit.
Because pregame isn't even over.
I watched a little bit of post. And I felt bad for Dana Larson.
Yeah,
it's post is starting at 11:40.
Yeah, and shout out our good buddy Clark too. If it's playoff basketball, those shows are going 45. No doubt, especially with a win. They were there late last night.
You were in your zone when you dropped Pinot Noir. When you said that, I was
that
man,
came
he
smooth.
is feeling it right now.
Look, I was hyped up last night. I think regular season basketball is boring, and I think playoff basketball is some of the best stuff in the world.
It is.
And when it's clear that there's stakes, and last night obviously there were stakes, and it was.
I still like regular season basketball more than I like regular season baseball by a big stretch, but I will say playoff season basketball is a whole other caliber.
Yeah, absolutely. Your mileage may vary on that. Anyway, go Mavs. Hit the Expo. Let's go! Free money! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Louisville, Texas. It is Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a magazine that I'm ready to be done with.
I'm ready to punch it into the sun.
Last night about 11:30, I was reading 2A pages. I was reading 2A pages for Ish because Ish designs our 4A3 and 2A pages. I lay out 6A, 5A, 6-man in private, and 1A in private, I should say. And I was reading those 2A pages, and it was probably the 200th page I've read in the last week, and I was like, I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm cooked.
I reached that with my big stack on Monday. Once I got about halfway through that on Monday, I was like...
I got some more for you today, by the way. TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I did not get a ton of sleep last night. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks. She's the president of the Luka Doncic fan club. She's Ashley Pickle.
I thought we were a capital J journalist, and that is a lie.
Are you not a Luka fan?
I'm calling you a lowercase J journalist right now, and I'm not scared to say it.
Are you not a Luka fan?
Fan? No. Am I a fan of the game of basketball and respect the hell out of him? Yes. Fan? No.
Did you see that one-footed running three?
It makes me so mad.
That he checked three, he throws up. And he's
that's
like,
just like when Steph does his crap from behind the arc, and you're like, oh, it's infuriating, but I have to respect you.
It's incredible.
I hate it.
And sitting over in the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Today, Greg Powers Memorial Power Zone is the eponymous Greg Powers. Hello, Greg Powers.
What's up, y'all?
Look at that lighting.
How are you? Ooh,
Yeah,
That's
are
crisp.
You are.
That's what's up.
You got a glow.
You are
Nice.
glowing.
You're glowed up right now.
Thanks, Pickle.
You're welcome.
You didn't do the
I
lighting
didn't do
today.
I didn't do jack.
There
I
was
showed
that-
up. I didn't even turn on the microphone. I don't have a switch.
And we're going to keep it that way.
Today is Wednesday, May 26, 2021, 183 days till Thanksgiving. Episode of 1174. 1174, this is the number of hits for Toby Harrah in his illustrious Washington Senators and Texas Rangers career. Toby Harrah, 4-time All-Star. He was awesome. Toby Harrah was great. In fact, Toby Harrah, third baseman, second baseman, and shortstop. Where did he play the most games? I think of him as a third baseman.
You could consider him an athlete.
Yeah. An infielder. You know. He's pretty darn good.
An athlete.
On today's show, friends, we got This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, next level athlete. In the back half of the show, Powers caught up with Cedar Hill cornerback Jalon Peoples. He's on the cover of People's Magazine.
Boo!
I don't know about that one.
We'll hear from Jalon Peoples from Cedar Hill coming up at the back half of the program. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Rob Hadaway, Coach Terry Crawford, Tony Blaylock, and Miss Terry Adams. Welcome in, fellas and lady fella.
Okie dokie. I suppose we should do this. Oh, I should promo this off the top.
Take a breath.
I should promo this off the top. Next Friday is the official cover reveal.
Rudy's birthday.
For that too. The official cover reveal for the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. We know what's on the 2020 cover. On the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, the most tightly kept secret in the state of Texas will be revealed next Friday, live, right here on this program. Same bat time, same bat channel. Brought to you by our good friends at Home Field Apparel, homefieldapparel.com. They are awesome, and if you don't have any of their T-shirts, go get them. Like, they're super good.
They are awesome.
They have awesome
They're
t-shirts.
sick.
So, Home Field Apparel is the proud sponsor of our cover reveal next Friday, right here on Texas Football Today.
I think you made it worse.
I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. And this is This Week
In Cruton.
It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete. Follow him on Twitter at GPowerScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter. Next Level D1. See his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And, of course, this segment is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express.
It's awesome.
Boom.
Question mark? Like, we're leaving the question mark there as a tease for you to go tell us if it's awesome.
There is no question that it's awesome.
Correct.
So, and
Exclamation point.
I took my mother-in-law. Well, I didn't take her, but I brought Chicken Express home for my mother-in-law. My son graduated this weekend, so we had a lot of family.
Congratulations, buddy.
Congrats.
A lot of family in town. She had her first Chicken Express experience,
Ooh.
Dude,
and it was a grand slam.
dude,
She loved it.
if you bring your mother-in-law Chicken Express,
That's a gold star. Like, you're going to get the gold star.
let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If I were to bring you a bouquet of flowers, or I were to bring you a bouquet of chicken fingers from Chicken Express, which would you appreciate more?
The tendies. Duh.
I think it's give
I don't even have a reasoning for it other than duh.
give tendies.
Strong shout out to the Highland Village location, too. I got 2 family packs and was
Ooh.
out of the drive-thru in less than 7 minutes.
That is crazy.
That drive-through is crisp. It's
It-
crisp.
It was really
So,
nice.
Efficient.
are the tendies. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, Next Level Athlete. We got a lot to get to, Powers. Let's start with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise is 2022. A-Leaf Hastings, what's he play? Offensive line?
Offensive tackle.
Offensive tackle. Teamy Gagafine. Did I get it?
Yeah.
Hey, all right.
I was letting you run with this one.
Teamy Gagafine. Say it confidently. He picked up another Power 5 offer this week. This one from Tennessee. And then he's also added some he had an offer from Louisiana Tech. He's got some other offers from UTSA, North Texas, Houston are all in the boat, as well as Ole Miss. Big boy down there in A-Leaf. We don't talk a ton about A-Leaf Hastings, but every once in a while, it seems like they're not that kind of program that puts out like 5 prospects every single year.
Right.
But they routinely put out 1 or 2. It seems like every class we're talking about someone from the Hastings Bears, and this one, Teamy Gagafine, is the latest on deck.
He is a monster. He's an offensive tackle, 6'6", 290. He looks like a linebacker in his pads. I mean, he is really put together. And watching his tape, he played a lot of right tackle for them last year. He runs really well and has the desired length, I think, to be a true offensive tackle projection, and also, the power. You like to see these guys who could play tackle but also have the power. If they have to, they can slide inside. I mean, he is wide at the in the base. He's a guy who could definitely open up some running lanes, and the running back can have a lot of fun running behind him. And, just looking at him, especially on that end zone angle, he kind of reminds me of, looks like Trent Williams.
Wow.
That's a guy who just looks like him on tape, appearance-wise. So it's always difficult to compare someone to Trent Williams, who had my favorite NFL clip of all time that went viral last year whenever he just decleated someone in the NFL. It was an awesome.
He's but this big tackle, Teamy Gagafine, out of A-Leaf Hastings, certainly a guy to keep an eye on. And the Power Fives are starting to notice. It seems like a lot of the really savvy G5s here in the state. You're talking about North Texas, UTSA, Houston. Right. They're already on board. It seems like everybody else is kind of playing catch up there.
Well, he's got 2 SEC offers and no other Power 5 offers. That's kind of weird.
Very odd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. Strange situation there. But anyway, he is our prospect on the rise. Let's get to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week. There were no new commitments this week.
Wow.
What? What do we make them commit, Powers?
This happens only once or twice a
year.
year.
Really is. I guess
that is wild.
There's 52 weeks. In the year.
Do you think graduation has something to do with it? Like their
maybe.
focus on actually getting out of high school?
Well, but remember, these guys are going to be juniors.
Yeah, never mind.
Or I'm sorry, they're juniors right now. And then you also have underclassmen. I don't know. It's odd. I guess maybe it's just 7-on-7 time, and it's kind of
maybe
it's
colleges
a slow time.
Are focused on graduation.
It's a slow part of the football calendar anyway. But of the 52 weeks of the year, what, you think there's 2 every year?
Yeah, probably
2 weeks that there's no commits?
I will say a lot of the college staffs are on vacation right now.
It is big vacation time in college athletics.
That's a good
You were absolutely right.
And so we're going to rewind a little bit and go back and talk about Ty. Is it Kana? Kana. A guy whose name I've written 30 times in the magazine. We think Katie's going to be pretty good. And
spoiler.
Ty Kana. I've written him 100 times. I've never said it out loud until now. Ty Kana, their linebacker. He is, I think, between him and Malik Silla, the new stars, the new faces of this Tigers defense. He is a USC commit. He had offers from all over, including Baylor, SMU, Colorado, Oklahoma State, Washington, etc. I think anytime you can get a linebacker from Katy, and one that Gary Joseph will go to bat for, you probably got something special on your hands, and Ty Kana appears to be that.
Yeah, and we never really got a chance to talk about his commitment. Back when he committed on February 20th, here are the guys who committed that week. Noah Thomas was our commit of the week. He committed to Texas A&M. Travell Johnson committed to Texas. Jason Llewellyn committed to Oklahoma. So I was glad that even though we didn't have a commit, that we could take a look back at Ty and kind of shine the spotlight on him, because I think that he brings a certain quality to the table, and he will at USC, that he brings the table for Katy. He is one of those guys who flat out gets after the football. And he has no wasted movement. When he sees the ball, he pins his ears back and goes and make a tackle. And another one of these guys who I think is going to be an out-of-state gem for a school like USC. USC is USC, right? They're a prominent program. Have they been down maybe on the national prominence over the last handful of years? Yes. But Ty's going to an elite program and has an elite skill set. So I think they're going to fall in love with this guy from Texas. And I think out-of-state programs don't think, oh, well, we're going to Texas and we're going to find our defensive players.
Yeah.
But this is a guy that they're going to be thrilled about in Trojan land.
Well, and remember, USC, I mean, we can certainly talk about quarterbacks and we can certainly talk about other positions that they have, in my opinion, underachieved of late. Never been a problem at linebacker. Their linebackers are always good, and they always seem to be putting linebackers into the NFL as well. And so Ty Kana from Katy, the USC commit, is our commit of the week. Let's go to our underclassmen of the week. We're talking This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, the Next Level Athlete, here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag TF Today. Our underclassmen of the week going to DFW down to the I-20 way to 2024 defensive end from DeSoto, Caleb Mitchell, who is a guy who I think is starting to pick up a little bit of steam recruiting-wise, a guy who's going to be asked to do a lot for this DeSoto team. You remember Shamar Turner is off to Texas A&M. They are in need of that new big-time edge rusher, and the staff down there in DeSoto certainly thinks that the 2024 defensive end, Caleb Mitchell, can be that guy.
And I agree. You know, you think at DeSoto, they always have guys on the offensive side of the football who put up big numbers and, you know, make highlight-worthy plays. But last year, their defensive front was amazing with Shamar Turner, Byron Murphy, who signed with Texas. And they're going to have to hit a little bit of the reset button this year. And Caleb is a guy who got varsity experience as a freshman at DeSoto. Not a phrase said often.
Yeah.
I'm racking my brain to just think of the guys who were freshmen that played there. I know that Dontre Wilson spent some time as a kick returner as a freshman, but not a lot of guys have the opportunity to step on the field there as a freshman talent. And I predict 6'2", 240, he's probably 14 or 15 years old. Everybody's going to offer this guy. Alabama, LSU, Texas A&M, Texas, Ohio State, Clemson. Everybody's coming after this guy by the time it's all said.
Well, and you got to think, too, not only being on the field, but being on the sidelines, he was learning from Shamar Turner, and that can go light years.
And, you know, it's so funny about DeSoto that you're exactly right, that I think we think of DeSoto as having all these big-time offensive prospects and stuff like that, and you're right. And yet, the best player to come out of DeSoto is a defensive lineman, is a rush end in Von Miller, right? That's the best player to come out of DeSoto. And so there's pedigree there of producing big-time defensive linemen, and Caleb Mitchell could be that next guy, and it'll be exciting to see what he does.
I think you're right. I mean, when you say skill, you also think, for me, like defensive secondary, right?
Yeah, like a safety. I think
and you always think, well, DeSoto is going to have the receivers and the corners and the safeties, but you're right. They do a great job of producing guys on the defensive front.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Finally, let's round it all out with our recruit of the week. Our recruit of the week, staying in the DFW Metroplex, let's go to South Lake Carroll. Avion Jones, the cornerback from South Lake Carroll, who will be a senior this upcoming year, has decommitted from Oklahoma State, and now he is going to take some official visits, some OVs, as they say in the recruiting parlance.
They're back.
He's going to Arizona on June 4th. He's going to Oklahoma State on June 9th. He's going to Wisconsin, Scotty, on June 17th. This strikes me, correct me if I'm wrong, my initial read on this, and I have not talked with Avion Jones. I have not talked with anybody at South Lake Carroll. My initial read on the situation is, we can start taking official visits, right?
Yep.
Why don't I
explore my options?
Look around a little bit.
Right.
I would not be. This doesn't strike me as something happened and suddenly he's not in love with Oklahoma State. He's obviously visiting there, but it strikes me of like, okay, there are more of my options open, so let's go and explore those.
Well, and there's always a part of you that when you have to take these trips, there's no hurt in saying, I want to take them with an open mind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he has that opportunity. This feels like a guy that would end up at a Wisconsin, and you're like, where did this guy come from now that's getting drafted? You know, and he's like, oh, well, he came from Texas, and we were able to steal him out from underneath the nose of some of these top programs. South Lake Carroll had to hit the reset button on defense last year. I think, and you can correct me maybe if you can recall a little bit better, Tepper, I think they replaced all 11 starters at the beginning of last season?
Yeah, they might have one guy back.
I think there was one DB
so
back.
They had one guy back. But yes, your point is well taken. They were almost, if they were not entirely starting over, they were very close to starting over.
Well, this is one of the guys who stepped up in a huge way. He's extremely athletic on the island. He has great vertical range, meaning that he can high point the football like a wide receiver to limit taller guys. You know, he can jump and get his hands on the football, makes really good plays on the football. But one thing I really like about him as I've gotten to watch him develop is that he's not afraid to put in the work to be successful. He's always one of those guys who's out training, trying to get better, trying to put himself in a situation where he can learn more about the craft. And there's no spot on the field that's more of a technique-based position than cornerback, and Avion Jones is one of those guys that I've kind of fallen in love with in that regard.
He looks like he seeks out contact too, which is always big.
Yeah, he's physical.
He's got that dog mentality, I guess is the best way to say it.
Most certainly. You know a guy who also – actually, no. I was going to do my segue, but I want to ask you about while we have you here. I want to ask you about the Jalon Blue situation.
Okay.
I think everybody's buzzing about it. Everybody's talking about Jalon Blue opting out, the Klein Kane running back, a guy who we have ranked as the number 1 running back in the state in the class 2022 at texasfootball.com/recruiting. My initial read on the situation is that this is a set of circumstances that obviously he thinks this is best. And so, hey, God bless you. Go enjoy it. Who am I to tell you what to do? But I don't necessarily see this as a looming trend that is going to hurt
be the downfall
high
of
school
Texas
football.
High school football.
I don't think that this is – I think there may be 1 or 2 guys who do this every year, but I don't necessarily see this as being like the top 40 players in the state are going to opt out every year. I'm interested in your read on the Jalon Blue situation.
Well, it's layered to me. It's got layers like an onion.
Shrek. Yes.
It's like a bloomin' onion is what I would say.
Like an onion.
First and foremost, the coaches at Klein Kane have done a tremendous job of promoting Jalon Blue and getting him out there. And you hate to see on that side of things that he won't be out there for his coaches and his teammates for his senior season, right? That's something that was my initial thoughts with knowing the coaching staff down there and what I know that how they've gone out of their way to make sure that people have known about him since he was a youngster. So I did feel what I would assume is their pain in this. On the flip side of it, as I look at it from his perspective, I see a guy that's already got 450 carries on his body coming out of high school, and would it help to limit the contact? So I can see what I see there is his perspective on that is that he can concentrate, keep his body healthy, go into college. It's not like that he's hunting for a scholarship. But this is the same old story that we've had for a while. Not very many guys opt out, but there are a lot of guys who don't play with the same passion once they've made their college commitment as they enter their senior year. And is it better for the team to have a running back who's going to give it his all? Obviously, he wasn't going to go out his senior year and if he's thinking about not playing.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
He's not going to go out there
he's
not going to go out there and
set records.
Right.
So is this better for the team? Is this better for the team that he's not going to be out there sucking up the carries or I get what I'm saying. I'm not trying to look at it in a negative light, but I'm trying to say, is this
and
half
that's something. Yeah,
right.
That's an interesting point because I do think you're right, and it's kind of an elephant in the room that we want to talk about, which is when a guy commits to a major program or he gets everything he wants from the recruiting world. He has nothing left to gain from the high school football world if he doesn't have that passion for playing high school football in the same way that other people do. And I'm not accusing Jalon Blue of that. I'm just saying if he doesn't have that passion, then yeah, there are guys who maybe take their foot off the gas a little bit and say I'm gonna make some business decisions. And to be clear, these guys are not being paid. They need to do whatever they can to make sure they get paid, and that's fine. I think that is fine if that's what they want to do. That's their prerogative. But I think that you're right. This is not necessarily a new thing. This is just like a new level to something that has already existed with players, whether we talk about it or not. It's just another level to it.
Here's an interesting question on this topic. Mm-hmm. Will he play in the All-American game? He's been invited. He's accepted an invitation.
It's a great question.
See, in my mind, you worry about injury at that point because you haven't been on the field.
Well, and as I mentioned, as I mentioned on Monday, I think his reasoning is actually pretty sound, which is as a running back, as a car crash position, you're going to take a lot of hits. You only have X. You know as well as anybody, you have X amount of tread on your tires as a running back, right? It's not like a punter where you can punt forever. You know what I mean? It's not like that.
Crazy with
exactly. There's X amount of time, and so if he thinks I think that I can make it to the league. I think I can play big time college football. I think I want to make it to the league. I want to get paid for being a running back, and so I'm going to save those for that. The reasoning actually does make some sense. I don't like it personally, but it does make some sense. And so the All-American Bowl is interesting because the All-American Bowl, it would stand to reason that if you are truly committed to the idea of like, I want to save my hits, then yeah, the All-American Bowl is a no for me, dog.
Right, and this is just another one of these complicated recruiting questions too, because this is why a lot of people were against, speeding up the recruiting process where these guys get offers, and commitments, make them before their high school career is over. I think that's why a lot of people in high school football are against that because of these issues. You want them out there, you want them playing, but they're just. You could just peel back so many layers on this. I mean, we could keep talking about this as a debate on is he doing the right thing, is he not doing the right thing, but it just leads to more and more questions about the entire process, and there are going to be no answers. And I love to explain recruiting like this. Everything is unique for each recruit. There's never one way to pigeonhole this for everybody. Every recruitment is unique and individual. Every athlete is unique and individual, and that's how you have to look at all these, and you have to really understand it from Blue's perspective to know what he's thinking. And none of us are Jalon Blue, so we can't really do that.
But one guy that guy is Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete. Follow him on Twitter at GPowerScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter at NextLevelD1. See his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Powers, stick around, please. Oh, and read his fine work in the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football.
I've read it.
I've read it too.
Good job.
You've read it.
I've read it as well.
Powers, stick around because I need you to introduce the next segment. So don't leave. Don't sit. Can you lock the door? We're talking.
I didn't go cut that. Switching to Powers, and he's sitting there just looking at you like.
We're Texas.
How long will this go?
We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday, buddy. We don't have commercials.
How long till I actually need to get up from this chair?
We don't have hard outs, and what I'm doing as soon as I get off of the show
have done a
is going
7-hour show,
reading more. So yeah,
he's stalling at this point.
I really am. You want to just chat? This is Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Hope you'll consider becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe. It's our subscription package, 2 magazines, a year's worth of exclusive online content, including, if you want the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, mailed to you before it hits newsstands.
Which you do.
TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Makes a great gift as well. This is like the perfect time. You should, whenever you feel compelled to subscribe, I want to support you in doing that. I want to give you my love. But I can also understand that, like, if you subscribe in February and then you say, hey, you have access to a website, and then you'll get a magazine in June, and we don't know who's on it.
It loses some of the
luster.
I
get that. If you want to wait. But now's the time. Because Friday we're revealing the cover here on Texas Football Today. Thanks to our friends at
Next Friday.
Next Friday. Thanks to our friends at Home Field Apparel. We are going to reveal the cover exclusively here on Texas Football Today. And then you'll know who's on the cover. And then it's like, hey, this is what I got you.
Well, and I'll also say, like, we all know this, but our subscribers love to tweet out pictures when they get the magazine.
Yes.
And that's when everyone gets the big FOMO of going, well, it's not on shelves yet. I can't go get it. So if you subscribe now, you won't have that FOMO that will inevitably roll around.
Beat the FOMO. TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Hashtag beat the FOMO.
That's nice.
Powers, who did you talk to this week?
We spoke with Cedar Hill cornerback Jalon Peoples, who has narrowed his list of 29 offers down to 5 and has some big official visits coming up.
Here's Powers' conversation with Cedar Hill cornerback Jalon Peoples here on Texas Football Today.
Greg Powers, TexasFootball.com, Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And like we do every week, we're joined by one of the top Lone Star State prospects. This week we have Jalon Peoples from Cedar Hill High School. Jalon, thanks for joining us today.
No problem. Nice to meet you.
Man, Cedar Hill had a great season on the field last year. You had a really strong year. You've been standing out on the field, ever since that first moment you stepped out. I think it was the game against Allen was the first time I saw you play.
Yes, sir.
Kind of talk about playing for Cedar Hill, what it's like playing there, and give us some perspective on being a Longhorn.
Playing for Cedar Hill is big. I mean, I had 3 brothers come through, so me being the 4th one coming through, I'm just stepping up to the plate. I mean, playing for Cedar Hill is not easy. I mean, you're surrounded by great coaches, great community, great players, so it's going to push you every day to be the best you can be.
Talk about playing cornerback. I mean, I feel like that's the one position on the field where you have to have so much swagger and confidence in your abilities to step up and try to play against the other team's top wide receiver every week. I mean, just kind of talk about playing that position and your love for that position.
I mean, I love corner ever since I played it. I mean, corner is not an easy position. I mean, you got to be confident in everything that you do. You got to take that rep serious every rep. I mean, corner, like, you're going up against, like you said, the top dudes in the nation. So you got to be on your P's and Q's every rep, every snap. Like everything has to be perfect. I mean, like, corner is one of the hardest positions on the field. So I mean, whenever you play in that position, you just got to have that dog mentality. Like you just got to be like, I can do it. Like, you got to have all the confidence. Like, and that's it.
Anybody you look up to in college or the NFL that you feel like is somebody that you mimic on the field, or somebody who you feel like brings something that you try to incorporate into your game?
My brothers, I say for sure. I mean, my brothers go hard every single day, and so like whenever I see them go hard, it just pushes me to go harder. So I mean, but in NFL, like, my favorite corner is Jalen Ramsey. Like, I love him. I love his game. I love the way he play. Like, I love his confidence. Like, he feel like he the best on the field, and like that's the type of swag you have to have whenever you play a corner.
As a Cowboys fan, man, you said a name that I still, to this day, if we would have drafted Jalen Ramsey, I think things would be different. So that's one that kind of stings my heart, but I know what you're talking about, that he's a great player.
Yes, sir.
I know you have a lot of colleges that have been coming after you so far. I think that you were our recruit of the week, as a matter of fact, when you named your top 5. And
yes, sir.
Correct me if I get the schools wrong. I'm doing them off of memory. I think you had Baylor in there, SMU, Kansas, Iowa, and Texas Tech. Is that the right list? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what was it about those programs that kind of jumped out to you, made you feel like that's one of the 5 schools I'm going to play for?
Whenever they first just talked to me, I mean, I knew it was love from there. They all stayed in contact with me, made sure I'm good, made sure my family good. Like with me, it's not all about just recruiting me. Like, you have to recruit my family too, because my family has to know I'm safe wherever I go. So I feel like those top 5 schools really did that thing, and so that's why they are in the top
5. Big news is coming for everybody that's involved in the recruiting process. You're about to be able to take some visits and go out and see some schools for yourself.
Yes, sir.
Are there any schools that you have circled that you have set official visits to, or which schools do you plan on going out and seeing?
I'm planning on taking my official visit June 4th to Kansas. Then I got the 11th, I'm going to Iowa. Then the 18th through 20th, I'm going to Texas Tech. Then the 25th, I'm going to Baylor. So I have one more OV left.
Gotcha. And you have a decision date set? Is that right?
Yes, sir. I will be coming in July 1st.
Man, congratulations. Big news is definitely coming down the pipeline. When you go on these visits, now you have to try to decide that one. What are you going to be looking for, like, when you step foot on campus?
Just the coaches' love. I mean, just like the whole community, the locker room, the facility, like really the community. Because, like, I want to go to school to where I know I'm going to be safe and I'm going to be protected by everybody. And I know I can have people that can reach out to me. Like, it's not really so much about football. Like, that's a big step. Like that's where I'm going to be for the next 3 to 4 years. So I want to make sure I'm good. The coaches take me in, like, as I'm their own, just really treating me and my family right.
Texas football and Dave Campbell's Texas football, we always have our eye on in-state programs. So I am going to ask you a little bit more about some of those schools. And I got to start with Joey McGuire, who used to be the head coach at Cedar Hill. You never got to play for him. He's been gone too long now, coaching in college. But I know that he has a strong connection to that high school. Coach Lynn has done a great job carrying on all the tradition there. Baylor's one of your top schools. Is Coach McGuire playing a part in that, or is Baylor kind of setting themselves off in a different way?
Coach McGuire plays a big part of that. I mean, he checks up on me every single day. Like, he calls me, make sure my family good, make sure I'm good, make sure school going good, like, make sure I need anything. Like, Coach McGuire is like a dad. I mean, he makes sure I'm good every single day. And then, the coach, like, they get on you about football stuff. Like, he'll get on me if I do something wrong, and then I just correct it. Like, Coach McGuire is like a great guy. He's a great man.
I did a story a couple months ago about just looking at the NFL draft and talking about defensive players in the state of Texas have a good chance of actually getting drafted into the league in college. And Texas Tech has been a program that's done a pretty good job of that, sending a couple linebackers, most recently big name guys into the NFL draft. And that's one of your schools. What do you like about the Red Raiders?
Like Texas Tech, I mean, I love it. I mean, I love their facility. I love coaches. I love Coach Hodges. I love Coach Wells. Like, all of them. I love all of them. I love Coach Jones. I mean, they all stay in contact with me. Just like I said, like, they stay in contact with me every day of the week. Like, just to make sure I'm good, like, make sure my family good, and just make sure I'm good, like, as an individual.
SMU, man, I don't want to say they came out of nowhere, but SMU has really been building something special in the Dallas area. You don't yet have an official visit set to SMU, but they are in your top 5. What keeps the Mustangs on that list?
SMU, what keeps them on the list is, I mean, my brother goes to school there and plays there. That's one. And, like, I've been there a couple of times. Like, I took a visit there. I mean, SMU is a great place.
I know every year in and year out, Cedar Hill has a state championship circled, and that's a dream. I know that you guys have the goal of winning the state championship. You did lose some good players, namely your quarterback who went on to Tennessee, Caden Salter, has left the program. I mean, he graduated, he has to.
Yes,
but y'all have a lot of talent coming back. Just like every year, the program there seems to reload, not reset. What does Cedar Hill have to do to win a state championship next year, and how's the team shaping up?
I mean, the team shaping up pretty good. I mean, we have to get better and better every single day. Like the main goal is to get 1% better every day as a team. And once we do that, and once everybody buy in, I feel like we can be unstoppable.
That's Jalon Peoples, one of the top players in the Lone Star State, regardless of position, and definitely one of the top cornerback prospects in the nation. Thanks for the time, man. Thanks for joining us this week on Texas Football Today, and good luck with that big decision coming up on July 1st.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There he is, Jalon Peoples, the cornerback from Cedar Hill. Narrowed it down to 5. Down on the list of 5?
Yep, down to 5.
Okay.
Big time.
Big time prospect. Appreciate his time talking with our own Greg Powers. Now, let's go over to the pickle jar to talk with Ashley Pickle and round it all out with America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
You always say that very skeptical, even though you call it the same thing every time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you hoping that, like, the light bulb just comes on with a better idea at some point?
Yeah, that's exactly it. This is a nice placeholder.
Like, I'm going to say it slowly in hopes of something better coming out. Okay. My final thought, and I don't know if I'm allowed to tease this, but I'm going to tease it anyway.
Oh, no.
We've got, maybe we won't tell them what it is, but I will say we've got another bracket challenge coming up. I believe that it will be getting started on Monday. So when you're off on your holiday, you have time to sit there and cipher through all of our bracket stuff. And I'm going to tell you, I have seen what it is, and it's really cool. This one's really cool.
Powers, what are you doing for Memorial Day weekend? Do you have big plans? Not a whole lot of plans?
Actually, I do know what I'm doing. I have to help my son move from one apartment to another apartment in Norman.
Well, that's it. Got to get rid of your son.
But that will happen.
He's fired.
That will hopefully be completed by Saturday to give me a Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, because we were talking.
Okay, yeah, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it on a 3-day week because then you still get your weekend. You're not at a complete loss.
We were talking about this off air, about how we send the magazine to press on Friday. Friday, 3 o'clock-ish. That's why we don't have a show on Friday, I should reiterate. And I think this is the first time since I've worked here that I won't be working on Memorial Day weekend. that I actually have Memorial Day weekend. Like, we're finishing it before then because we've moved the deadline a little bit back because we want to get you the magazine quicker and things like that. And so, yeah, I don't even know what to do. I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, I'm just like.
I remember when
normally Memorial Day just means like I work.
It's
all weekend.
crunch time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fixing to say, and obviously I've only done one magazine season, but I will say that when I asked originally in March or whatever, hey, what's the send to press date, and you said the 28th, I was like, oh my God, that's
before
perfect.
Memorial Day.
It's the weekend of, which that Friday is always such a good day anyway. Just of, you know what, there we go, we're done. Like, that's awesome.
But you won't be here for Scotch and Pie.
I won't be, and I'm very disappointed in that. You can blame my brother for graduating.
That prankster.
Yeah.
What kind of pie goes with Scotch? I'm just curious. Is this
pie
Buddy,
flavored
is
pie?
this pecan pie?
Buddy, we can talk. If you want to help me pick out the pies.
I mean, that's my brain goes straight to pecan.
You need to look, yeah.
You know what goes
You
know
need
what goes
to
good
look
with
on the Scotch and see
Dude,
what
do you
it
know
pairs
what goes
well with.
Do you know what goes good with really good Scotch? Everything.
At this point,
like
anything.
this is the most expensive bottle I buy every year, and just for the staff, and like I don't know, everything goes. We had ice cream one year. We had Scotch and ice cream. That's how it all.
That actually sounds good too.
That was a Max Thompson Pucci got ice cream from like Cincinnati somewhere. There's some sort of famous Ohio ice cream I want to say that he got.
I'll
Super
take
good.
I'll take
You're
a
a Reds
bottle.
fan. Tell me about it.
I'll take a bottle down with me and enjoy a glass after graduation.
No, you won't. It's gonna do it. Go ahead.
I can't remember the Ohio ice cream. Handles.
Handles. That's it. Yeah, he ordered Handles. It was really good. All right, that's going to do it for us. Enough nonsense today. Thanks for spending part of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Cedar Hills, Jalon Peoples, for being our guest. Thanks, Powers. You want to do it again next week?
I'll see y'all then.
For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow for our 1,000. I don't know. We'll see you for our show tomorrow.
Something.
Bye.